Hello, beautiful people. It's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and well, I'm not alone because I've got one feisty hero. Yeah, let's say that we've got a feisty hero here in the name of Jim.
Hello, I'm feisty, I'm spicy, I'm very warm. There's another heat wave in London. So it
Yeah.
seems only fitting that we're talking about the fire-themed game that we're talking about today, because that's how it feels in my flat right now.
Saving my house and not fun. But yeah, speaking of Fire Emblem, so we've had a lovely chance of being able to play some more of the, first, not more, but yeah, being able to play Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I can actually talk about it as well, which is nice. Yay!
What a treat.
I know. I don't feel like I'm just flailing. But yeah, so we've played some of it, and as I would probably say with these preview things, there's only certain things we can say, everyone. So please don't come at us in the comments. But yeah. Anyway, how shall we start with this? Because I first of all, what's your experience with Fire Emblem?
I love Fire Emblem. I was thinking about this while I was writing up our preview coverage. I think I've played every Western release bar the GameCube one, which I now don't have an excuse for because it's on Nintendo Switch Online, and the Wii one. I think I've played all of the others to varying degrees, obviously. Like, some of these can be rather beefy sausages, so I haven't played all of them to completion. But I love Fire Emblem. It's great. It's so nice that they've given these heroes from Smash Brothers a series of their own.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at a character and be like, I know you. But I mean, my experience with Fire Emblem is a little bit different. To be honest, the first one I properly played, which was on the Switch for a very limited time only, was Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. I really liked it because I do love me a bit of tactics, you know. And then I also picked up this during in 2020 during the certain Animal Crossing craze, and I played a little bit, not a crazy amount, mostly because I was so neck deep in Animal Crossing. However, again, really enjoyed Birthright and Fortune's Weave. Let's just say that I'm absolutely loving it so far, and I'm sure you are, but especially as you've played far more than me, considering you had last week off, and I've been playing a lot of games recently for other things. But I mean, what can we say? What can we say about Fortune's Weave, Jim?
Yes, Fortune's Weave is a lot, and that's kind of the best thing about it. I say this in my written preview. I am of the opinion I preferred Fire Emblem Engage over Three Houses, which is something that a lot of people disagree with, but that's okay. I preferred the combat focus, and Three Houses has a lot of social stuff. There's a lot of tea parties, a lot of picnics, a lot of upping support with your team, and that's the kind of stuff that just didn't really interest me at the time. Fortune's Weave is like Three Houses dialed to 11. It's four houses. It's bigger and far more dense. There are so many systems. There's so much for you to do in between these battles. It's to the point where the meat and potatoes of the game kind of is all the stuff in between. It's sorting your training. It's reclassing. It's
the downtime for sure.
It's the downtime. It's going out into the open world, which is big. It's a really big game, and there's a lot to it. It's gonna be the kind of thing where if you want, you can pour hundreds of hours into this. I would be surprised. We've only played through the opening 5 chapters.
Yeah, mostly.
And yeah, so we've played through the opening 5 chapters, but there are 4 characters to play through as well, and all of which kind of have a different storylines of their own and different perspectives on the main storyline. Yes, all this is to say, it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, coming from playing the other 2 games and jumping right into this after being told by my friend Jack, you need to play Three Houses. I will play Three Houses at some point soon. I will have my little romance stuff going on. What I have found really interesting, and I said this before the call to you, Jim, just for the lovely viewers at home, is, we both played Dungeons and Dragons. We both played like TTRPGs and stuff. And what I really loved about the fighting in this, which is, it's no different than any other Fire Emblem game on paper, is I just thought of it as, oh, this is like initiative in D&D when you're fighting and everything. And the one thing that I really, really loved were the different types of attacks you could do. You could do blaze attacks and combat attacks, was it?
Yeah, combat just some arts of them, and blaze arts, yeah.
Yeah, arts, thank you. Yeah, they're really interesting. So, like, I'll admit that playing as Theodora, because that's the one I've played the most, I can't wait to go try out the other characters. I loved using my blaze arts on that as much as I could. However, I had to use it sparingly because it knocks a bit of your HP, which is another thing that I'd had to balance with making sure that I had someone there to assist and heal me. But the characters are so great. I'm really loving the dynamic between some of like your support characters, with again only based on what I've done with Theodora. However, as much as I absolutely love running around in open world games and just kind of exploring the world and doing, what have you, as soon as got into the, hey, you can free roam a bit, I got really overwhelmed. I was like, okay, I'm just going to train for a little while and see what's going on. Yeah. But no, I'm really, really loving it so far, and I can see myself sinking in far too many hours into it. Absolutely. And grinding to my heart's content.
Yeah, it's dense, and it throws a lot at you at the start as it introduces you to all of these different systems and all these different things that you can do in the downtime, in between matches. But you do soon kind of get your head around it. So we should probably explain what the downtime is in between these heroic games, which you no doubt will have heard about if you watch the directs and the trailers. You are free to explore the capital city of Daxian as you please, which is a massive hub area, and it's full of things that people who have played Three Houses will be familiar with, like support conversations and training and opportunities for reclassing and all that jazz. And it's big, it's very big. And in this area, you can go around and pick up side quests and ways to increase your renown, which is different for all four characters, how your renown goes up. And then you can step out into like the overworld. You can go out into the world map, which provides this huge area to explore, and there are other cities that you can go into which aren't as big as Daxian, but there are other cities to explore out there, and
dungeons as well.
There are dungeons, which if you played Shadows of Valencia, which I have just up there, you'll be familiar with dungeons in Fire Emblem. They're great and they're big. There are random enemy encounters that you can stumble across. There are crops to farms to crops to farm.
It's the ultimate life sim.
There's so much going on, and you can play as much or as little of it as you please. The more you do, the better your characters will be, and the better chance you stand in the next heroic game battle. But ultimately, if you do want to just skip ahead, then you can. The interesting thing for me has been that I didn't get on with any of that stuff in Three Houses. I found that it was kind of dragging down the experience for me. But something about it being somehow the fact that it's even denser and there's even more to do this time around, it seems to have kind of got me. And I am being given this, you have, let's say, 70 in-game days before the next round, spend them as you please. I'm finding myself really pushing those 70 days to the limit. I'm thinking, oh, well, it's the weekend now, so I should probably go and get training because it's cheaper on a Saturday. And then during the week, I'll go out and I'll explore things like that, which is a U-turn for me that I didn't think was going to happen with this game. But here we are.
Well, I'm already at the point where I have picked up quite a few side quests, and I noticed when I was double checking through like my main quests and side quests when I was playing yesterday, they have time limits. Like you have to get this done by a certain day, and I was thinking, oh my god, I can't pick up two, because I usually pick up loads of side quests whenever I'm playing any RPGs. For me anyway, I really feel like I need to kind of focus on my time management within the game, because not only that, but you also have turns within your day-to-day stuff that you do. So if you go to an inn, for example, that takes a turn. If you go to the overworld and move around, or like go to I was gonna say a dragon, I don't think of Dungeons and Dragons, going to a dungeon, that takes turns. So you've also got to try and budget, I guess, in a way, just so you've got enough done before the next heroic game, which is really, really interesting, because again, that's when I kind of my TTRPG brain switches on, which is beautiful. And the fact that loads of other RPGs I've played, which I'm sure is like, as you know, is very common within Fire Emblem games. It's nice seeing familiar mechanics in this as well, like being able to rush an enemy before you go into combat, which I really love. Makes me very happy because I didn't get the upper hand.
Absolutely. And then for the people who perhaps were a bit like me heading into this, where the idea of doing all this downtime stuff isn't quite so appealing, the combat is great as well. Like you touched on the new additions like the blaze arts and the combat arts, and they're wonderful. But it's fundamental Fire Emblem combat at the end of the day, which is great. It doesn't really need touching. The menus are super snappy. You can play in mouse mode this time around, which still isn't a control scheme that I find immensely comfortable, but it's there if you do want it. The blaze arts add an element a bit like Fire Emblem Engage's ring system, where characters can have this super powerful rush, but as you said, there's now the risk and reward of, but they're going to lose health to do it, so is it worth doing it now or is it worth doing it later? There are link attacks too, which you can do in these kind of little turn-based dungeon clashes, they're called this time around, a bit kind of Final Fantasy. I think what I'm enjoying the most is the variety. There are 4 different heroes and each of them bring different gameplay mechanics to it. So aside from the different storylines, you've got the blaze attacks, for example, are different for each hero. Like Kai fires out a giant blast, Theodosia chucks stuff,
and she does like a ground thing.
She does like a ground thing and throws things. Dietrich can like teleport. Lida is a really interesting one for me because Lida is a main character, but she's a support character, so you're using her not necessarily to like lead the charge, but to back up everyone else and to give them all stat buffs. And that's super fun and interesting. It means that not every character is just playing like this kind of tank. I'm going to use the blaze art now because this is the time where I need to defeat the enemy. There's also great variety in the missions as well. Not every single mission is defeat the enemy captain, which Fire Emblem has kind of stumbled into in the past. There are missions where you have to defend a certain zone or escort things, or there's a lot going on, and that's great. That spices things up enough that after 25 plus hours of just in this preview section, I'm still coming back for more, and I still want to make the most of all of these into battle sections. It's a good time.
I'm sure that everyone else will be really excited. I mean, like, you've played more than me. I've played quite a few hours as well. But even just chatting about all this, and I'm properly excited to kind of give it more of a go. I'm already strategizing in my head what I'm going to do next and who am I going to play. So.
You might have noticed as well that the Fire Emblem fans out there may have noticed that we haven't really touched on a lot of story here, and I think that's with good reason. Aside from putting embargoes and the likes aside, there's an awful lot going on here conveniently in the story, and those who are a fan of Three Houses, of Three Hopes, of the Fodlan area on the map, will find a lot to like about this, I think. We're not going to go into spoilers, but also my Fire Emblem lore isn't as good as I know a lot of people's are out there. I am ready for the hours-long video essays explaining timelines and who's doing what.
It'll be great for people who, if this is their first Fire Emblem jumping in as well, people do make videos like that, so do it.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Yes, there's a lot going on, but it's also at its heart like a gladiator film. There are these great big massive battles. Everything is classic Fire Emblem high melodrama. Every line is shouted and is dialed up to 11.
I shall defeat you.
I will defeat you.
Just peak anime goodness, isn't it?
Peak anime goodness. I'm sure that will rub some people up the wrong way. But for those who, know what you're going into with Fire Emblem, it's sexy anime men and ladies doing big dramatic monologues. And for people like me who love the Fire Emblem series, that's just good soup. That's the stuff that I come to these games for. I'll also add mentioning how handsome all of these characters are. There's a great touch that Dietrich who is not Sephiroth, is Dietrich, is in universe an immensely good-looking man, and everyone tells him in every conversation he's in, they say, "Wow, you're so handsome."
And I think, his ego.
And I think, yeah, I mean, they're not wrong. Yeah, that's fans of Fire Emblem will have a lot to like about this, definitely.
Sorry, all I kept thinking of, everyone's like saying, Dietrich, oh, you're so handsome. I'm thinking, people are going to be looking at Theodora and be like, Mummy.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's it, folks. We're going to leave you thirstier than ever, I guess, on that last point. Now, let us know in the comments below, will you be picking up Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave? What did you think of the recent Direct? Are you excited? Let us know down there. Or else we'll come in and blaze art you. I don't know. And don't forget to subscribe. That's always a good one. Again, blaze art that subscribe button. I'm sure that you'll be able to defeat that nasty not subscribed button thing. And don't forget to check out the Nintendo Live for more lovely Nintendo bits and bobs. Thanks again, Jim, for joining me. And in the meantime, folks, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.